is Heather with Sonoma Fit, and I will be doing a low impact strength class for us today. So crank up your music at home. Let's have a little bit of fun. So we're gonna start first with a little warm up, and we're just gonna start with a little step tap and roll that shoulder. Start to focus in on our breathing a little bit here. 4 more, let's go 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna flex that heel forward, little flex. Just flex that heel. Let those arms swing forward. And then we're gonna take those arms and we're gonna cross them right in front of you. Cross that midline. Just starting to bring that heart rate up, wake up that body. All right, little march in place, here we go. Pump those arms. Keep that chest up high. You can let those knees come up a little bit higher or keep it down here. All right, we're gonna go back to that little step tap and we'll roll that shoulder. This time we're gonna go a little bit bigger and start to open up. Lift up through that chest, big reach, up. If that doesn't work for your shoulder, keep it nice and low, and 4, and 3, and 2, then that flex of the heel forward, flex. Let those arms swing. And then we've got that cross in front, so we're gonna cross the midline. Starting to get a little bit bigger here. If that doesn't work for you with your range of motion, a little bit smaller, just keep the cross in front. We've got 4 and 3. Now we're gonna add a little kick to the glute. So we're gonna kick that heel to the glute. Hands can either stay on the hips, or we can reach and pull those elbows back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lift the knee. I'm gonna take the hand and tap that opposite thigh. Keep that chest lifted. And we've got 4 and 3 and 2. Now march in place again, little march. Breathe in, exhale out. All right, let's take a big reach overhead with those arms and lift and exhale. And again, breathe in and exhale. 2 more times. Breathe in through that nose, lift that chest high, and exhale 1 more time. Breathe in and exhale. All right, I'm gonna take those feet out wide. I'm gonna start to get that heart rate up a little bit more. Now if that doesn't work for me, I can just march here. And let's take those arms right out in front. And pull back. And in front. And pull back. Feeling that heart rate coming up. Pull back. And 4 more. 1, a little faster. 2, 3, 1 more. And 4. All right, nice and easy, march it in. Woo! Got that heart rate up a little bit more. All right, now we're gonna take a little step tap. And step tap, option 1. We can stay with this. We can progress into a little bit bigger. If we wanna add 1 more layer, we're gonna add a little balance here. And if you're feeling frisky, you can add a little bit more here, side to side. Otherwise, keep it right here. Most of us are gonna wanna stay with this one or that tap. And we got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Let's open up those feet. Feeling that heart rate coming up a bit, and we're gonna start to do some hip hinges into squats. So I'm gonna drive my hips back, keep that back nice and long. As I'm doing this, I wanna imagine someone's pulling on my belt loop at the back of my pants, keeping the back of the leg nice and long. This is like a straight leg deadlift here. Drive those hips back. So anytime today that we do squats and they do not work for you, a hip hinge is always a good option. So I'm gonna start to take this into a squat, driving my weight back into my heels. And let's go down and up. Make sure you can lift the toes at the bottom of that squat. And let's keep that breathing. 2 more. Remember, we can always go back to that hip hinge if that feels better for you. And up. All right, now I'm gonna do a little tap. Here's option 1. I can just stay with this. I'm gonna slow it down and tap. I'm gonna progress this to a small lunge. I don't have to go very deep with that lunge. I can start to drop that knee lower to the ground. If this bothers your knees, make sure you just stay with the tap. And then in a little bit, we'll progress that to some balance work. Ooh. And let's take it back. And again, we can drop into that lunge. Let's do 2 more. And last one. All right, now we're gonna take some taps to the side. So we're gonna tap out and in, and out and in. Now I can stay with this tap. I'm gonna start to put the weight on that foot, stepping out really into a little squat, and then I can take this into a lunge. If that does not work for my knees, I'm gonna stay with the tap or a little step out into a squat. And I can start to go bigger with this and really think about driving your hips back. Let's do 2 more, and side, last one. And now we're gonna take it forward. So I'm gonna go forward. I'm just putting the weight down like I'm gonna march forward, and I change my mind and I pull right back in. So I'm really engaging through that core, forward and back in. The next option would be to start to take this into a lunge. So I'm dropping that knee toward the ground. If that doesn't work for me, go back to the step. Still getting great benefit here for the core. Let's do 4 and 3. We've got 2 more, 2, last one, and 1, and rest. All right, we're gonna move into some weight work here. So if you do not have weights at home, you can use cans. So play around with the ones in your cupboard. Make sure you find 2 that are the same so that you're using both the same weight here. So we're gonna just start making sure that our toes are forward, about hip width apart. Keep that chest lifted. Our body's nice and warm now and ready to work. So we're gonna start off with some bicep curls. Palms are facing in, they curl up to the top. And again, let's exhale at the top and inhale at the bottom, and again, curl. Now this is gonna be a little bit easier than this next move. So if I'm not up for that, I'll stick with that one. Now I'm gonna turn the palms up. And remember that the more resistance that I add, the more challenging this is gonna be. So if I feel like the weights that I have at home, the cans that I have are not gonna be heavy enough, I wanna make sure that I'm adding more resistance both directions and making that weight feel a little bit heavier. 1 more. And now we're gonna hinge forward. So that hip hinge we did in the beginning, we're driving those hips back. And I'm gonna go ahead and drive my elbows back. So now I'm working into the back. So first I was starting with the biceps, and now I'm doing some double back rows. If that doesn't work for you to do both at the same time, you can alternate these. Just keep that back nice and long. Your hips are driving back. Let's do 2 more. Exhale. And lift that chest. Come back up. All right, we're gonna go back to that bicep curl. So we can do the palms facing in again. And then we're gonna hinge forward and do 2 back rows. Hinge forward, drive those elbows back. And again, come on up. We have the option too to take the palms up. Let's do that again. Curl in, and then we'll hinge forward. Keep that back nice and long. Drive those elbows back. All right, we're here in this position. We're gonna take this into a reverse fly. Now, if this does not work for me, I'm gonna stay with that row and drive my elbows back. But I wanna squeeze my shoulder blades at the top, take it out. I could also do this without the weights. So I could choose to put the weights down and not use them here. Let's do 2 more. Squeeze at the top. I'm looking out in front, not right straight down with my neck. Keep that chest up and roll those shoulders back. Let's get a little bit of movement back in that body. Just rolling that shoulder from side to side. That's it. We've got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Let's open the feet a little bit wider this time. Toes are out, and I'm gonna shift, soften the knees, shift my hips back. Take those palms facing in, squeeze at the top, and squeeze. Let's do 2 more reverse flies. 2, last one, and 1, and then lift the chest up. Bring those weights here to the shoulders. I'm gonna press up. Shoulder issues, you can try alternating these instead, or we can just hold it at the shoulders, and I'm gonna add a little squat here. So I'm gonna drop back and press up, right? And I can just do the squat and not do the shoulders if that works better for me. Remember, I also have the option to alternate these instead. 1 more. And let's hinge forward. So hinge forward, let the weights hang down. We've got that reverse fly. 4 and 3 and 2, last one, and 1. We're gonna lift the chest, bring the weights to the shoulders, and squat and press. Now, if you want to add a little bit more to this, you could combine these movements, make it a little bit more cardio, and press straight up. Otherwise, we stay with separate squat and press. And again, 1 more. Heart rate should be back up again a little bit, and bring it back in towards you. Woo! All right, bring those toes facing forward again. So about hip width apart, and we're gonna go slow here. Up, right row. Now, if you find that your wrists start to bend here, just limit the range of motion. Coming up and back down. And again, up and down. 2 more, and 1 more. All right, we're gonna work this into some balance work. All of this could be done without the weight. So if I have shoulder injuries, I might choose to do all of this without the weights. If my balance is a little bit off, I'm not gonna lift the foot off. I'm just gonna stay with that tap and that front raise for the shoulder. If I can, I'm gonna start to add some balance here by brushing and lifting that leg off the floor. So I've got that good balance here at the back. I'm not hinging forward. I wanna keep my chest up, even if it means I'm not going too far behind me with that leg. And we've got 4, and 3, 2 more, 2, last one, and 1, and rest. All right, little step tap. We're gonna set those weights down. I'm gonna hang on to one of my weights. Now I could, if you have a little ball that you can hold, or you have like a grapefruit or something like that, you can use that instead if the weight feels too heavy. Otherwise, just use one of your cans or something that feels comfortable to hold in your hands here. We're gonna work the core with some standing core work. And we're gonna just start to bring that weight side to side or hip to hip, keeping your hips facing forward. And then we're gonna step out in front and take a figure 8. I want you to exhale into this. Now this can be a little smaller, but I can also bring that heart rate up by making the movement bigger. So just pay attention to how you're feeling, what you're up for here. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'm gonna plant my feet, rotate without moving my lower body, without moving my hips. And I'm gonna start to turn. Notice that my knee and my hip are coming with me. Now if you're on carpet and you're having a hard time getting that foot to come with you, you're having a hard time pivoting it, make sure you lift the foot off or just take it back to this first move here with the rotation without the turn. Now if I can, I'm gonna lengthen those arms out, making that lever longer, a little more challenging. 4, and 3, and 2, one more, and 1. Let's bring it center. Now we're gonna go down and up. This is a ground and press. And 4, and 3. You got 2 more. 2. Last one. Let's bring it into the chest. All right, now we're gonna rotate to the side. So again, if you are on carpet and you are having trouble with the rotations here, make sure you're picking your foot up and turning your knee and your hips with you. I'm gonna drive down and up. So I'm getting that big chop down and lift up out of that oblique. So coming all the way down from that oblique. 1 more here. All right, let's bring it back into the chest. And then we'll do the other side. So I'm gonna come down and up. And if that doesn't work for my shoulders to do a big reach here, you can shorten this here and just bring it shoulder to hip. And again, take it down and up. 1 more time, and down and up, and let's bring it in. All right, we're gonna go back to both weights again. So we're gonna move into some tricep work. I don't have the time. I lost it, so I won't. Sorry.
You're at 13 minutes.
Okay, so just maybe if you can tell me when we have 10 minutes and then 5, so I wanna make sure I go to the floor. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to screw that up. Okay.
I'll let you know.
All right, hinging forward. So I'm gonna keep my back nice and long, just like I did with those back rows. I'm gonna bring those elbows in, and I'm gonna alternate, 1 arm at a time, making sure that that head doesn't dip forward. I'm looking out in front, keeping that back nice and long, and then I'm gonna go to doubles here. So just a little kick back. Let's do 2 more, 1 more, and lift that chest up, lift it up. All right, let's bring those arms to our sides, and we're gonna take it out to the side. Now again, shoulder injuries, I might choose to do this without the weights. And let's do both if we can. Take it out, 2, and down. And 1 more time. Take it out, and bring it in. Let's go back to the triceps. So this way we're able to keep moving without completely fatiguing one muscle group. So I'm going back and forth between my triceps, and remember I can also do this with doubles here if I'm up for it. I'm going back and forth right now between my triceps on the back of the arm and my shoulders. And then I come back up, keep that chest up, and I can either do those singles. Make sure that those feet are planted, that we're not tipping into one side. You want to be nice and stable here. Brace that core, lift up tall, shoulders stay down. And 1 more time, take it out. And bring it in. Let's do this 1 more time. So we're gonna hinge forward again, keep that back nice and long, elbows in, and I can either alternate these kickbacks or do both. Paying attention to that spine, keep that back nice and long. Woo. And 1 more, and then I'm gonna lift that chest up and move into the shoulders, either singles, or I can do my doubles, and take it out. Let's do 2 more of these. And last 2, 1 more, and bring it down. All right, we're gonna bring that heart rate back up a bit. So let's set those weights down, shake out those hands, and let's go ahead and just take a little tap. We're ready to bring that heart rate back up a bit. Woo. All right, we're gonna lift those knees up. Lift, lift, lift. Option 1, I keep the knee a little lower. Option 2, a little bit bigger. Now I'm gonna start to push. If I'm up for it, I'm gonna go big, pull. I don't have to, this doesn't have to be a jump. I can make a lot out of this movement without having to jump. Still low impact, but my heart rate's going up. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Easy recovery march. Woo, just march it out. Easy, easy. Catch your breath. Try to get yourself to the point on those that you feel that heart rate come up and you start to gasp a little bit for that breath so that this is that recovery. We're gonna do that one more time. So I'm gonna build it the same way, but you can go right to those bigger ones if you're up for it. Or here, and otherwise here, pull, big. Exhale as you drive that knee. 4 more, 1, 2, 3, and recovery march, easy. Woo-wee. Breathe. All right, open those feet up. Make sure you're not too wide with your feet. You want those toes facing forward. We're gonna go back to the squats. This time we're gonna pulse. 1, 2, 3, and up. Remember, if the squats don't work for me, I wanna make sure 3, 2, 1. I wanna make sure that I do the hip hinge instead. So my option here is 3, 2, 1, and up instead of 3, 2, 1, and up. All right, roll those shoulders back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale down. All right, we're gonna take it down to the floor. So give yourself some time here. If you're not ready to come down to the floor, just take your time. You can grab a towel. If you have a mat at home, grab a mat. I'm gonna grab a mat quickly here. And we're gonna take it down and just do a couple things here on the floor. So I'm gonna start on all fours. Hands are right underneath my shoulders. I'm gonna bring my legs together. I'm out my back nice and long. I'm not dipping my head. Let me turn this way a little bit. And we're going to extend the leg back and come in. And all I'm gonna do is alternate back first. Then I'm gonna progress this and add a lift of that leg. If I'm feeling okay with this and I'm feeling stable, my hips are not rocking here, I'm gonna start to add the opposite arm. So if I'm lifting the left leg back, I'm gonna lift my right arm. Opposite leg to arm, and I wanna feel that core engage as I come out into that bird dog position. And let's do 4 more here. 1, and 2, and 3, you've got 1 more, and 4, and rest. All right, we have worked our shoulders, our back, our biceps and our triceps, but we haven't really done a lot for our chest. So we're gonna combine some push-ups and planks, and I'm gonna show you a modified or a good option for that. So I'm gonna be on my knees, and I can stay right here with all fours and shift my weight forward here. I can also hinge a little bit forward and come down into that push-up and press up. Then I'm gonna sit back and get that stretch. Come forward, make sure the hands stay right underneath the shoulders, elbows stay in, and extend back. And let's do that again, come forward. So we're not just getting the chest on the push-ups, we're also getting really our whole upper body. We're engaging through our core, we're pulling those triceps, working extra hard, keeping those elbows in as tight as you can. Make sure you're not flaring those arms out. Right into your side, 1 more, and come back. All right, let's go ahead and roll it over and finish here on our back. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my feet right underneath me, and I'm gonna do a few hip bridges. You could certainly use your weights here if you wanted to use those weights. Otherwise, I'm gonna push the hands to the floor here. And I'm gonna make sure those feet are lined up right underneath my knees, and I'm gonna squeeze my glutes to the top, and then lower the hips to the floor. Make sure you're not arching your back to come up. You wanna be squeezing your glutes, engaging your glutes. You wanna feel the hamstrings engage here. We can lift the toes up a little bit and come down. And let's do that again. Driving those hips up and bring it back down. And let's exhale to the top. And inhale as we come down. 2 more, squeeze through the glutes and lower it down. And again, lift and lower down, and let's bring those knees in. And just relax, feel that back press into the ground, nice and easy. And let's put that left foot down to the ground, lengthen that right leg up. Now, if you have trouble reaching for your calf here, just move your hand to the back of the thigh on that hamstring. If you have a towel, you can put a towel around your foot and use that to help pull the toe towards you. And we're just gonna breathe into the stretch. Just exhale into that stretch as you bring that leg towards you. And release. We'll do that one more time. Bringing it towards you, holding that stretch. If the leg's quivering, it's too much, so just back off a little bit. You wanna get right to that spot where you're feeling the stretch, but it's not painful. And release, and let's do the other side. Bring that leg up, and we're gonna bring that leg towards you. If you're forcing to get this leg, move the hand down to that hamstring instead, and we can do the stretch from here, or again, we have that towel. Take a deep breath in as you exhale. Bring that leg towards you, and release, and bring it towards you, and release. All right, we're gonna bring those legs down, and then we'll drop both knees to one side. I'm gonna open up the arms and drop that shoulder down toward the ground. Now, I may not get as far with my knees if I'm tighter in my hips, but I wanna open up here and try to drop that shoulder down. If that doesn't work for you, a good option here would be to just bring the arm to the side and work on the rotation in the spine. Otherwise, we're gonna open up. And I wanna be very careful of my back as I come back to center here, so I might wanna bring this arm in first and then bring the knees up. Let's drop the knees to the other side, open up, and let that shoulder now drop to the other side. And I can look away from my knees to really exaggerate that rotation. Again, if that doesn't work for me here, I might pull this arm in and stay on my side. Just breathing into that stretch. And let's bring your body over to the side that your knees are on, and just gently take your time as you move yourself onto your knees. And we'll come back to this position here, and I'm gonna walk my hands out, open my knees up a little bit, and come on back, and just drop into that extended child's pose, dropping the chest toward the ground, lengthening out through those arms. And let's walk those hands in. Now, if I don't want to do a downward dog and stretch my calves that way, another option would be to just drive my heel back here. If you're okay coming into a down dog, we're gonna lift the hips up and drive the heels toward the ground, really lengthening through that spine. If you're doing the one leg, make sure to switch to the other here. And then I'm gonna soften my knees and just gently walk my hands back in toward my feet. Take the hands to the thighs, and we'll roll up nice and slow here. Your shoulders and your head are gonna come up last. If you have some time in the end here, you could spend some time just on the floor and do some breathing on the floor, but we're gonna come on up here. If you're up with me, take a deep breath in, lift that chest up, and exhale down. And have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me. Hello, my name is Heather with Sonoma Fit, and today we have for you a little chair class. So the chair that I have at home here is a chair that maybe you have at home. Ideally, you want to use one of your dining room chairs, something with a firm back, and the most ideal chair would be one that doesn't have any arms on the side, so you're free to move your arms to the side, but is tall enough at the back that you're able to hold on to it for balance. So you're going to see that this will be not really the most ideal chair, but we're gonna make it work, and I'll show you, I'll move out from behind the chair to show you what I'm doing. All right, so we're gonna start seated in the chair, and I have a set of weights with me here down on the floor. If you do not have a set of weights with you at home, make sure to grab a set of soup cans. Choose something that would be a good weight for you that is manageable, bringing out to the sides for your shoulders. If you have shoulder injuries, you can always do all of this without weights as well. All right, so we're just gonna start by warming up the body. So I'm gonna start by bringing my hands to my side. If I have a chair like this, I wanna be more forward in it so that I'm not kicking back in the chair. Take a deep breath in, lift that chest up, and exhale down. And again, let's take a nice deep breath in, and exhale down, keeping that chest up nice and high. All right, we're gonna start to just march those feet in the chair, a little march, and I'm gonna let those arms swing a little bit. You can put on any music that you like in the background here. Pick something that works for you, and we'll do a little heel tap forward. Now, I should point out here that ideally this chair is a little bit low for me because my hips are dropping below my knees. So ideally you want a chair that is, chairs are really not very adjustable, but you want a chair that you're sitting in that your hips are at your knees or above, and that you're not dipping down low here. So if you're feeling a lot of stress in your hip flexors here, just try to find a better chair. All right, let's start to take it a little bit bigger out in front. My option here would be to extend that leg and engage through my quadriceps. And if that doesn't work, I'll progress it back to that heel tap here. Let's go 4 and 3 and 2. Now back to that little march. Take a little march in place. Just letting those arms swing here. And if that's not working for me to lift the foot off the floor, I can just lift the heel off the floor. And 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now tap that heel forward again. One more time here. Being aware of your posture, that we're not slouching into the chair. I'm gonna lift up nice and tall. So I'm really having to engage through my core, using the muscles in my back to keep my chest up. And we'll be doing some work to engage in those back muscles today so that we're really able to work on good posture. And again, I can add that extension and lift, and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and rest. All right, let's roll that shoulder back, lift that chest, roll, lift, roll. Now, if you've got some room here, we're gonna be able to start to work that elbow back and go a little bigger. If that feels okay, I'm gonna start to go even bigger. If it doesn't, keep it small. And you should be able to bring that arm all the way around if you can. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Let's take those arms out to the side. And exhale down. All right, let's move it back into the feet. So now I'm gonna just tap the toes. So this is gonna really help me with my gait, with walking, by strengthening on the front side here. So by lifting those toes up, I'm alternating them, and now I'm gonna go to doubles. If the doubles don't work for you, stay with the alternating singles. Lift, lift, lift. We've got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Now take the heels and toes and heels and toes. So I'm just rocking and lifting up to the balls of the feet. Lift those toes up. Let's do 4 more. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and relax. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start working with some strength work here. I've got my body a little bit warmed up, and then we'll come back to some work without the weights. So I'm gonna start with just one weight. And I'm gonna bring this foot in, whatever weight I am holding on you're starting with that right arm. I'm gonna bring that right leg in, that hand is on the thigh, and I'm gonna hinge forward. And I'm just gonna take a single arm row. So I'm gonna turn for you a little to the side so you can see here. We're just squeezing the shoulder blade at the top. So I wanna drive that elbow back. And exhale as you bring the weight back, up, keeping it in towards you. Let's do 2 more here, and last one, and let's lift that chest up. And then I'm gonna switch the weight to the other side. So same thing here, bring that weight in, this foot comes a little forward, bring it in, hinge forward, and let's row here. And I'm just driving that elbow back. I wanna keep my neck nice and long, so I'm gonna turn a little for you here. We're looking at here, not straight down at your toes. Make sure your neck's not arching here. We want a nice long spine. We got 4 and 3, let's do 2 more. 2, 1 more, and 1, and lift. All right, bring it to the front, and I'm gonna take that weight right here between the legs. So opening the feet up just enough to let that weight hang down here in front. This can be done without the weight if I need to. I'm gonna bring it right out in front and then drive straight down. And I'm gonna use those muscles in the back here. If my shoulders are okay with coming up higher, I'm gonna lift a little bit higher. And let's really start to use that resistance as we come down so that we are engaging through those lat muscles here in the back. And it's not so much about the shoulders as it is about my back muscles. I'm lifting nice and tall. As you come down, let's exhale. Again, if that doesn't feel good on your shoulders, just limit the range of motion. Don't go up quite as high. And we've got one more. And exhale down. And relax. All right, let's bring those feet back in a little closer. We're gonna start to bring the heart rate up a little bit with a little bit of core. And I'm just gonna take that weight side to side. Again, if this doesn't work for me to hold this weight, I can always take it down. So I could just be moving side to side here without that weight in my hands. And I've got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it into the chest. I'm gonna come out in front and lift up, and take it out in front, out, and up. Let's do 2 more of these. Take it out in front, bring it into the chest, lift up overhead, and take it out. 1 more. Now take it side to side again. Right and left, and right and left. We should be feeling that heart rate come up a little bit with this quicker movement. And we've got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it in, take it out in front, and then overhead. Big reach up and out and up. We've got 2 more here. Take it out and lift up. And 1 more time. Reach out and lift up. All right, bring it down, and now we're gonna paddle. So we're pulling down. Imagine you're in the water, you're on a paddle board, and we're driving that paddle into the water. You might be in a canoe, and we're driving it and pulling through the water. So create that resistance for yourself. And let's go 4 and 3 and 2, 3 and 4. And again, squeeze. Do some reverse flies. If these don't work for you, take the weights out, or you can go back to the rows and just stay in tight to the body. We're gonna take it out to the sides, and we're gonna squeeze the shoulder blades. So this is working those muscles in the back. This is that reverse fly. And exhale at the top, and lift. Let's do 1 more, and lift, and then lift your chest. So that we're giving ourselves a break in between, that we're not having to stay. It takes a lot of work for the core to stay forward here. So let's go back here again, engage those muscles in the core, keep that back long, and we'll squeeze. Let's do 4 more here. 4, and 3, 2 more, 2, last one, and lift that chest. Roll those shoulders back. All right, let's take it. We've got 1 more here. Bring those feet in. So now I'm gonna work the scapula here, scaption coming out in front. So this is not just about those shoulders. I wanna make sure I'm lifting through that chest, and then drive it down and in. And lift up tall, and drive it down and in, and 1 more time, lift, and drive it down and in. Good. All right, let's set those weights down. Go ahead, and we're gonna bring the heart rate up a bit before we stand up, and we'll do some balance work. So I'm gonna start here with just a little heel tap. Put on a good song for this one. All right, we're gonna take it out to the side. If it doesn't work for me to go to the side, keep the foot to the front, and I'm gonna start to push away. Adding a little bit more movement here to the upper body. If I wanna reach bigger, I'm gonna notice my heart rate goes up more. And I've got 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Now take it here. 4, 3, lifting those heels, 2 and 1. Keep that chest up and go back to this, to the side. Or I can go all the way up, adding more of a tilt, making it bigger. I don't have to tilt the body, I could just use the arm up. Again, make it work for you. 4 and 3 and 2, and take it here, and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and all right, we're gonna lift up. So coming up out of the chair, I would like you to not push off the chair if possible. Take the hands to the legs or out in front, and we're gonna engage through the core, squeeze through the glutes, and stand all the way up. Ooh, let's go right back down. All the way back down, come down to that chair, and lift up. So we're having to use that lower body. Keep that chest up. If you need a little help, you can push off the legs or push off the chair, but keep that chest up as you do. As you come back down, try not to plop into the chair. I want you to go as slowly as you can, really using that lower body. Weight back in those heels, and we'll do that 1 more time. Come up, and let's stay up. Whew. Okay, we're gonna move to the back of the chair. So let's come on back, and we're gonna do some balance work here. I'm gonna start here just to show you where you would be holding on. but then I'm gonna move to the front of the chair just so that you can see the lower body movement. But I would like you to stay back here. If you don't need the chair for balance, just let the hands go off the back of the chair. But know that the chair is there if you need it. So we're just gonna start with a little tap side to side. So you'll keep going with that tap. I'm gonna come out here, and this is my imaginary chair here. So I'm just gonna tap side to side. I'm watching that I'm not leaning, I'm keeping that chest up. And I'm gonna start to add some balance work here. So a little brush. Notice I'm keeping my toe facing forward. If you have a higher back chair, this is why it's nice that you're not having to reach down for that chair. Be aware of that you wanna be able to keep the chest up nice and high and keep that chest up as you take that leg out. The toes should face forward. I'm not rotating out. And I've got 4 and 3. Let's do 2 more, 2, and 1 more, 1. All right, I'm gonna tap behind me. So you're still holding onto the back of the chair and you're tapping behind. Watch that you don't lean your body forward, stay tall. And we're gonna add a little brush and lift. So I'm brushing off the floor. I feel the glute squeeze and the hamstring squeeze. If you're wanting to try taking one hand off, we can do the opposite or the same arm to leg and just let go with whatever arm works for you. Whatever happens first is good. And you can always take both arms off if you were back here and you're feeling confident with that balance. We're feeling that squeeze through the glute and the hamstring. 4 and 3, 2 more, 2, last one, and 1, and rest. All right, holding onto the back of the chair, lift up tall. We're gonna go ahead and balance on one foot. So just take that leg off, watch that we don't dip into that hip, lift up and hold. And you can try letting one or both hands off the chair. Think about really making sure that you're not rolling into to the side of the foot, that you're even through the big toe, the pinky, and the heel. And let's set that down, and we'll do that again on the other side. Just lifting that foot off carefully. You can let the hands come off the chair as you feel confident with that balance. And just hold, breathe into it. If you're really ready to take it to another level with your balance, we can try closing our eyes, but make sure you know where that chair is if you lose your balance, because most of us, as soon as we close our eyes, do start to lose our balance. And bring it down. Let's go back to the taps. So we're gonna tap right and left, and right and left. Let's do 4 more. We can add that lift here. 2 more. And now we're gonna take it back, and we'll go back, behind, and if we want, we can add that brush and balance. And we go 4 and 3, 2 more, 2, and 1, and rest. All right, holding onto the back of the chair, and then if we don't need the chair, we can move the hands to the hips. So we're gonna do some hip hinges here. I'm gonna turn to the side. Imagine I'm holding my chair here. I'm gonna drive my hips straight back. I wanna imagine that I'm being pulled on the top of my pants, right at my belt loop, but I'm keeping my back nice and long. As I drive my hips back, I wanna keep the legs long, but a little bit of softness in the knees, and then I'm gonna drive back up. So hands can be on the back of the chair, or you can have them on your hips. Just be aware of your shoulders not rising up here. And I'm gonna start to feel the connection with this hip hinge, with what's happening here on the back of the leg. Now I can continue to do these as doubles, and I don't have to move into the singles, but we're gonna try to isolate and work one side at a time. So I'm gonna take my right leg back, and then I'm going to drive my hips back, working the standing leg. And I'm gonna drive those hips back, keeping this knee soft, but I'm really working through the back of the leg and into that glute. Hold on to the chair here if you need the balance. This is not when you have to worry so much about your balance. If you want to take this up a level and you're having trouble getting the sensation here, try lifting this foot off and then drive your hips back on that one. I'm gonna do the other side, so make sure you're switching, and same thing here. I'm gonna drive my hips back and come on up. And I can certainly just continue here, or I can lift that back foot off if I want, and you be holding the chair here, and I'm gonna drive those hips back, so I'm really feeling that glute and that hamstring on that single leg. This is where you will find, so for me, my right side is my weaker side, so you're gonna find your weaker side as well. So let's go back and just finish with both feet again, and let's go back and up. What this is leading us into is some squats. If the squats don't work for me, I'm gonna stay with the hip hinges. So let's drive that weight back into the heels, and you can let the hands go off the chair, you can keep the hands on the chair. The nice thing about holding onto the chair here is you're able to get the weight back into the heels a little bit more. Wiggle those toes at the bottom of your squat. Let's do 2 more, drive it back. 1 more, and back, and up, and rest. All right, we're gonna move to the side of the chair. So I'm gonna start over here for you. We'll see how this works out. Make sure that you move any weights or anything that you have at the side. And ideally, again, you're holding onto the back of your chair and it's high enough here that you're able to hold on without having to lean into it. So we're gonna start on the side of the chair. And I'm gonna move the inside leg. I'm gonna move forward here, but you would hold on to the back of that chair. And I'm just gonna tap this leg forward and back. Now I'm gonna progress this, but you choose which progressions work for you. So I'm gonna start with a swing to the front and a tap to the back. And a swing to the front and a tap to the back. Swing and tap. Now I can swing forward, swing back. I'm keeping that chest up and I'm not leaning, but if I want to take it one more level, I'm going to add a hinge, which is going to throw my balance off. That work we just did on that single leg hip hinge is going to come into play here. Woo, one more. And hinge and up. Switching legs. I'm going to take that leg and tap front and back. I'm still staying on this side of the chair. This one's a little different. And now instead of that tap to the front, I'm gonna add a knee and tap, and knee and tap. And then if I want, I can move this to a brush and knee and brush. Two more, one more, knee and brush. Now lift up and hold the knee up and balance. And then if you're able to, take that hand off the chair, hold 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Ooh. All right, let's move to the other side of the chair. We're gonna do the other side. So we're gonna do the same thing over here. And I'm gonna actually move out here for you on this one, but I'm switching legs. So now you're using the other leg, an inside leg to the chair, and I'm holding onto that chair, and I'm gonna tap front and back, and front and back. And I'm just holding on here. I'm gonna progress this if I'm feeling comfortable by brushing to the front, tap to the back. And then if I'm okay with that, I'm gonna move it to a swing front to back. If that feels okay, I might add that hip hinge. I can go as far forward on that hinge as I'm feeling comfortable with, and make sure that you're being safe and having that chair close to you. One more, and come up and rest. And then I'm gonna move it into the taps again. So I'm gonna tap, or sorry, switching legs. So now you're here and you're gonna use that leg, outside leg. So you're gonna tap front and back, and front and back. The option is the knee and tap, and knee and tap, knee and brush, knee and brush, keep that chest up, knee and squeeze. All right, one more. Now we're gonna lift and hold, lift and hold, 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 hold. And let's set that down. All right, let's go ahead and come back to the chair. We're just gonna finish in here in the chair. Come back, sit down, pat yourself on the back. All right, let's go ahead and just do a couple breaths here to just really center ourselves back to that chair before we do a few stretches. So palms are gonna face forward. Deep breath into that nose. Exhale as you bring the hands into the chest. Now just hold them in here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring those arms down to the side. Just relax, keep that chest up. And try not to lean back into the chair. I want you to stay a little bit forward here. Exhale and bring it into the chest. And breathe in. And exhale down. And just let those hands fall to the sides. Just flex that right foot forward. We did a lot of work for those legs today. And hinge. Keep that chest up. And on the other side, flex. And just drive those hips back. And come on up. And let's go ahead and finish with just a little bit of a reminder here for our posture. So I want to take the hands out in front, make sure that the shoulders are not rounding forward, chest up, and I'm going to open up my arms, squeeze those shoulder blades. That work that we did with the weights where we were working on our back muscles, this is why we want to make sure that we're nice and tall, and then bring it back in. And again, one more time. And bring it back in. And then we're going to lift the chest up. Bring it down. And one more time. Let's lift that chest up. And bring it back in. And let those arms come down to the side. Let's take one more breath in. Breathe in through your nose. And just let those arms float back down. Awesome job. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. This is Heather. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Sonoma Fit and share the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.